Hi everyone, welcome back to Queen Cheese Recipes, and today we are making the perfect cheesecake base. It is wonderful, delicious, you can serve it any way, and it's just the perfect cheesecake base to make any type of cheesecake that you like. So let's move on, let me show you how to make it. The first thing we're going to do is make our crust into a bowl, add some graham cracker crumbs, some sugar, some melted butter, and we mix until our mixture resembles wet sand. This looks great. You want to keep mixing until your graham cracker crumbs are nicely moistened by your melted butter. This is great. Now we're going to need a 9-inch springform pan that has been lightly greased. I've already greased mine. Now I'm going to place my crust inside. And make sure you have your oven preheating to 350 degrees Fahrenheit as well. And it seems like a lot of crust here, but don't worry because we are going to be pressing it into the base and up along the sides. I like to use a measuring cup. You can use a cup, whatever you find easier to press into your pan. Our crust looks perfect. Now we're going to place this into our preheated oven and we're going to bake it for 10 minutes. Once it's been in there for 10 minutes, we're going to remove it from our oven and allow it to cool completely. And then we will work on our filling. Let's get to baking. I washed my bowl, it is nice and clean. Now we are going to make our filling. Add in your cream cheese at room temperature, must be at room temperature. Add in your sugar. And now we mix till smooth 3 to 4 minutes. Get to mixing. So I mixed my cream cheese and sugar here for 4 minutes. It is nice and smooth. So in between, I just went in with a spatula and just cleaned the sides and bottom. Just want to make sure you don't have any cream cheese chunks or anything in here. You want your cream cheese filling to be perfect, so the end result will be perfect. Now we are going to add in our eggs. So I'm going to add in 1 egg at a time. And then after each addition, I will give it a whisk and then add the other until I've completely incorporated all my eggs into this mixture. Okay, so after incorporating all of the eggs, I mixed for another 30 seconds or so. Now give everything a good scrape. Now we are going to add in some cornstarch. It does prevent it from cracking, so I like to add it in my cheesecakes. Some vanilla extract for some flavor, and sour cream. And now we mix for another couple of minutes. After adding in our remaining ingredients, I mixed for another 2 minutes, and now I'm just scraping, making sure everything is glorious. As you can see, everything is perfectly smooth. It smells amazing. Our crust has already baked and it has cooled completely. That is very important. So now what I'm going to do is place my filling into my crust, and we're going to prepare a bain-marie, which is just a water bath. And you want to make sure when you initially bake just your crust that you place a pan under it just in case any butter seeps through the bottom of the pan. Very important, or you might have a big mess in your oven. So that is an important tip. And now we are going to place our filling into our crust. We are going to prepare our water bath, and I'll show you everything step by step. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is bring out 3 pieces of aluminum foil. So I like to sort of do something like this. Bring out our crust. And now just bring everything up along the sides and crumple it together. You need to make sure everything is well overlapped because you don't want any water seeping into your cheesecake. I'm going to add another piece just on the bottom. We want to make sure everything is sealed tightly. If anything tears, you want to make sure that you replace the teared part or that you add another layer. Very important. Press it really well against the pan without tearing it. This looks perfect. And now we're going to bring in another pan, which is where we are going to place our water bath. So you just need a pan that is bigger than your springform pan. Place it in there. Now we are ready to place our filling into our crust. Make sure your oven is preheated to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. And now we add our boiling water. You want to add about 1 inch to 1.5 inches of water. So 1.5 inches up along the bottom and sides of the pan. Now we are going to place this into our oven and we're going to bake for around 70 minutes, maybe an hour and 15 minutes or so. I'll let you know how long mine was in the oven for and what it looks like once it's done. Let's get to baking. My cheesecake baked for exactly 1 hour and 15 minutes. And then as I took it out, I left it at room temperature in the water bath, just as it was, for 30 minutes. Once that happened, I removed it and placed it on a cooling rack to completely cool at room temperature. Once it was completely cooled, I wrapped it with some plastic wrap and I placed it in the fridge for 6 to 8 hours. Now, I left mine overnight and I do suggest that you leave it in at least 6 to 8 hours, and then you can go ahead and cut it and serve it. You can even freeze your cheesecake if you're not going to be eating it all, and it's just wonderful. Now, if you prefer to have your cheesecake without it getting a little golden on the top, after the first 30 minutes of baking, just very loosely cover it with some aluminum foil without the aluminum foil touching any of the cheesecake, and allow it to completely bake and finish baking, and therefore you won't have any golden edges around your cheesecake. But to me, it doesn't really matter. I'm going to be serving it with something on the top, so it's going to be perfect. So let's release it from the pan. The cheesecake is perfect. It is perfectly leveled on the top. There are no cracks, and the water bath makes sure that that doesn't happen. So if you follow all the tips and tricks, your cheesecake will be perfect and delicious. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my knife and I'm going to run it under hot water. I'm going to dry it with paper towel, and then I'm going to slice my cheesecake. Make sure that you clean your knife after every slice. I like to serve my cheesecake with some fresh whipped cream, which is just heavy cream, and some powdered sugar. And because it's fall and caramel is in season, I'm going to drizzle some homemade caramel sauce, which I actually made today. So it is at the perfect consistency, and I will leave the link in the description box along with the recipe if you want to make some for yourself too. I have waited long enough. I'm ready to try it. One more bite. This cheesecake is over the top delicious, so creamy, so wonderful, and really isn't that difficult to put together. You need to make this. I'm gonna go eat my cheesecake. Make it, you're gonna love it. Bye everyone.